The reading strategy that I chose for ELLs is read aloud. Reading aloud to the students means that you have the audience of students and you are reading aloud to them whatever type of book regarding whichever age group you are dealing with that's age appropriate. You are reading aloud to the students. This is definitely best recommended when you are reading aloud and students have other copies of the books that you are reading so they can follow along. I know that the ideal age that should be using this strategy is more so third grade, fourth grade, because they're learning new vocabulary and they can follow along in their own copies of the book. This can go for any level of language proficiency, oral language proficiency, and content area. The materials and resources used are just a book, a magazine. The materials and resources for this reading strategy is unlimited for whichever appropriate age group. If you're reading to 4-year-olds, they'll be in a circle with you. If you're reading to third graders, you'll all have a copy of the book. So reading aloud helps students see how certain words are pronounced. It allows ELLs to see how, for an example, 2, 2, and 2 is used in a sentence. If you see the word TWO, you know that that's referring to number 2 because in the sentence that is being read, it will state. If you see the word 2OO or TOO, obviously that will be referring to something that has happened previously or has happened to me too, sharing a commonality of something, and they will see that being used in the appropriate sentence structure. Some research I have found that can help support this. First off, why should we read aloud? Reading aloud allows teachers to model fluent reading for students, and this helps the ELLs to be able to see how things are pronounced, how things are said, when commas are used. This also introduces students to specific vocabulary. So this reading strategy can not only help your ELLs, which is your main focus, but also students that are in your classroom. This can help provide a chance to address important vocabulary, important sentence structures, just especially fluent reading. Students struggle with reading. Even adults still struggle with reading. ELLs can be any age, so this can help them even when they're older because reading varies in all different types of age groups. Some tips for reading aloud. Choose books that are age appropriate for the students so that they are not confused. It has to be age appropriate regarding the age group you're working with. You read aloud with expression and enthusiasm so that the students understand what is going on. And when there's an exclamation mark, make sure it's very emphasized so they are knowing that, oh my goodness, an exclamation mark means that is something that needs to be emphasized. You can also use any different books, any different genres. Just make sure that the book is age appropriate. So I'm going to demonstrate my strategy for you really quick. So my scenario would be I am the teacher reading with my class. Each of my class has a copy of this. This book is more geared toward 4th grade level. If every student has a copy in the class, they can easily follow along. So I'm just going to demonstrate the read aloud strategy for you. Okay, class, let's turn to where we left off last time reading this. We were at chapter 15, page 107. So turn your pages in your book to 107 and I'll begin reading. You're right. Tobias smiled, patting her shoulder. Don't no man want to sleep with a snake. I'll take you over any skinny woman I ever seen. Oh, Tobias, be serious, she said, smiling too. Tobias then said, You know, Emma, I've been thinking about the cows we got from Lori. They must be men scattered all over the place with small herds and no way to get them to market. We get enough cash money. I could ride ahead of the drive and buy cows for $3 cash. What we got here now ain't nothing to what we could have. We would end a drive with thousands of cows and not even have to go to the trouble of catching them. That's true, Emma agreed. But when you just give your word for payment like you did today, what will you do if we lose this herd like we did once before? How will you pay anyone? That ain't likely. We're bound to get through with some of them. We got the men to do it. But if we make Bontarosso with only 65 cows, they belong to Laurie. I gave my word. Yes, you did. But I know by now how McIvy thinks. She took his hand and held it. If I were Laurie, I would trust you. Tobias smiled again. It's worth thinking on, buying cows along the way. So during that read aloud, as the children would be following, they would see how some emphasis on exclamation marks, there was emphasis on questions being used in the text. It's very important while you're reading the text to do emphasize with enthusiasm regarding question marks or exclamation marks so the students know the difference between the two, especially if they don't have their own copy. Just saying, how would we get there with nothing? Or how would we get there? It's very important for the students to see the difference. That is my strategy for Read Aloud. Thank you.